Hey there, thinkers! Welcome back to Critical Hit. As always, my name is Est, and Marvel Rivals is once again making the mainstream media spiral into an absolute tizzy. What a shocker, right? Because they can't seem to cope with the reality that Concord, their beloved overly sanitized darling, flopped harder than a wet towel at a pool party. Meanwhile, Marvel Rivals, with its scandalous decisions to let characters show a bit of skin and celebrate some well-rendered assets, is thriving in stacking up the player base. And as if on cue, the Snowflake Squad is back in full force, screeching across social media about the latest skins being added to the game. You would think the developers were committing some kind of gaming war crime instead of just adding outfits that might require a bit more double-sided tape than usual. But no, apparently this is the hill they've chosen to die on. Nothing says I'm a serious gamer quite like crying over digital characters showing a bit more leg than a Victorian table. And honestly, it's almost impressive at this point. Every time Marvel Rivals wins, the Outrage machine cranks itself up to like 11, as if their collective tears could somehow sink the ship. And it won't, because people like fun, visually exciting games that don't feel like they're just trying to lecture you. And Marvel Rivals knows exactly how to deliver that. So let them seethe. It just makes the victory that much sweeter. However, I have a few things to say here, but before I do, we have a small request. If you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button, smashing that like, and ring the bell to be notified for our next video. We would greatly appreciate this, since this will help us appease those YouTube algorithm gods. So we thank you. Now, let me give you our thoughts on this, and let's get into it. How dare a video game make its characters attractive? Like, oh my gosh, quick, somebody shield my delicate eyes from Venom's cracked up backside. We also have to admire the ladies. Like Hela, Black Widow, Scarlet Witch. Like, they are all absolutely rocking their assets, and honestly, I'm loving it. Like, as a woman, I generally enjoy seeing powerful, sexy, feminine female characters, just like I appreciate the hunky, muscular male characters. It's not that deep. Like, people acting like this is some moral crisis need to take a breather. Everyone's objectified in this game, and that's part of the fun. It's a comic book inspired fantasy world where everything is exaggerated. It's not a political statement, it's just a cool design. Like, is there a hotline we can call for people who are personally victimized by digital thigh gaps and pixelated pecs? Like, the idea that this is somehow offensive or damaging to women is beyond hilarious to me. Like, if you don't like it, just don't buy it. A revolutionary concept, I know. So there's a new Reddit post floating around, and I kid you not, it is peak main character energy. And it starts with, for all the girlies addicted to Marvel Rivals like me, because clearly girlies everywhere needed this PSA. The poster then proceeds to drag the new Sue Storm Gooner skin through the mud, declaring it's ugly compared to her default skin. But don't worry, they clarify they're not anti-curves in games. Oh, no. They're quick to point out that Psylocke's skin is also Gooner material, but apparently tastefully done, and therefore accepted. What a bold claim that if Sue's ass and legs were covered, no one would buy that skin. Not a single soul, apparently. They even sign off with a sigh of very disappointed, to be honest. As if Sue Storm's fashion choices have personally ruined their week. Because yes, when facing villains and saving the world, Sue Storm's top priority is making sure that her outfit pleases random Redditors with very specific tastes in superhero couture. Like, truly, a tragedy for the ages. I mean, of course, right? Because no one bought the Black Widow skins because she's in a full bodysuit. What an absolute groundbreaking take. Forget the fact that plenty of people play her and rock those sleek, classy skins without any complaints. No. It must be the crime of not showing enough skin, because apparently that's the only thing anyone cares about in a game. Never mind that her skin looks absolutely freaking fantastic as is, highlighting her curves in a way that's both stylish and fitting for her character. But sure, keep shouting that this skin is ugly from the rooftops as if that makes you feel better. Like, opinions are opinions after all. But the real kicker? claiming the skin isn't done tastefully? Really? Like, what does it even mean in this context? Because last I checked, this design is practically Psylocke's twin, with the shocking addition of a little more fabric on her butt and thighs. That's it. That's the big difference. Apparently, the extra half-inch of material has destroyed its artistic integrity and plunged us all into fashion purgatory. Like, give me a freaking break. If Psylocke's skin is tasteful, then this one is too. Unless tasteful just means less fabric, then we've redefined the word without telling anyone. I don't know what to tell you, because this skin is honestly pretty cool, and I'm pretty sure there are plenty of people who would totally buy this. And calling them gooners for doing so is just absolutely nonsense. It's not a crime to appreciate attractive characters, male or female. Honestly, if someone enjoys looking at a well-designed character with exaggerated features, that doesn't automatically make them some sort of degenerate. I mean, comic book characters have always had ridiculous proportions. Those big hips, oversized chests, and teeny tiny waists aren't exactly groundbreaking. It's been that way for decades. Yet here we are, still having the same dumb conversation about it, like the "where her organs," that Sega that never happened. It's like some people just can't wrap their heads around the fact that art, especially comic art, is just over the top by design. I guess we're all just going to be stuck in this endless loop of outrage for the sake of outrage. Oh, and Anita Sarkeesian? If she wasn't too busy making bank off the latest DEI initiatives and pretend to be some sort of consultant, because, well, let's be real, that's just code for ruining games. And she'd be all over this one, clutching her pearls like she did with the Mandalorian's boob armor and Lara Croft's over-sexualized portrayal. Like, you know, the same woman who spent years complaining about characters looking like they had any sort of physical allure, while totally ignoring the fact that people actually enjoy the game for reasons other than the character's outfit. It's just so absurd that we're stuck in this cycle of complaints like we haven't learned a damn thing in the past decade. Oh, and let's not forget the fact that there are women, I know, hold your breath, who have, get this, curves. Yes, real curves, boobs, butts, and tiny waists. Absolutely wild, right? But here's the kicker. It's not only fine for video games to showcase characters with these traits, it's actually normal. Shocking, I know. But believe it or not everyone wants to play as a blocky, emotionless character with zero personality. Some people actually like to look at, well, people with real bodies. But I'm sure the real issue here is that some salty people can't handle the fact that this game's blowing up. And let me hit you with some facts here, because just 31 days ago, the all-time peak player count was an insane 480,000 players, which not a fluke, mind you, because 445,000 players were playing in a 24-hour span. And even on a random Thursday morning, the game has 265,000 players currently in-game right now. So this game is clearly doing fantastic. So while you're out here clutching your pearls over the inclusion of some well-endowed characters, the rest of the world is happily playing and enjoying the game. So, you know, that game that is thriving despite all your whining. Now, let's talk about NetEase, because I know someone's bound to mention them. Yes, they are a CCP entity, and I totally get the hesitation there. But let's be real here for just a second. They've been pretty damn impressive with this title. No, they didn't fall into the pit of predatory microtransactions that seem to ruin so many other games these days. Instead, they launched with 33 heroes, and just a month later, they added 4 more. And let's just take a moment to appreciate that effort. And don't even get me started on the content. A massive roadmap with future content and even new ranks being added to rank mode. It's like they actually care about making the game good and making sure it stays fresh and exciting. So while you're busy hating, they're busy succeeding. And clearly the IP plays a role. But let's not act like Overwatch wasn't a perfect example of a game that managed to do just fine without an established IP. When it launched, Overwatch was riding the coattails of a major franchise. It was a brand new thing, and somehow it became a massive hit. Now fast forward to now, what do we see? Overwatch is rapidly losing ground as people jump ship to Marvel Rivals. Twitch viewership for Overwatch has plummeted by 85% in the past month because everyone's playing Rivals instead. So it's clear Rivals is the shiny new toy, and honestly, I think it's going to be here to stay. People are invested. But I guess if you're the type to cling to the idea that everything has to look exactly how you want it to, then sure, you can whine about the designs all day. But at the end of the day, people do like them. And if that's hard for you to swallow, then maybe it's time to step back and realize that you're not some high and mighty hero for disliking fictional characters that other people happen to enjoy. They're fictional, for one. And two, even if they were real, I'm pretty sure cosplayers out there are doing their best to bring these characters to life in ways that you could never hope to replicate. So before you get all huffy about supporting Marvel Rivals, just remember, you're not a gooner, whatever that means, for liking attractive characters. Developers create what they want, and if their designs connect with an audience, well, maybe you're the one who needs to catch up. Like, come on, it's absolutely priceless how these posts are getting torn to shreds, especially on Reddit. Like Reddit, the so-called bastion of inclusivity and open-mindedness, is having a meltdown over these posts. I mean, it's adorable how much they want to pretend to be this utopian space for everyone. But the second something like this shows up, they get ratioed into oblivion and the threads are locked faster than you can say misogyny. And trust me, this whole thing isn't going to die down anytime soon because controversy and outrage are bread and butter for the internet. And here's the thing, as a woman, I think it's utterly absurd. Seriously, these skins look absolutely amazing, and honestly, I feel way more empowered seeing beautifully designed feminine female characters who own their power and look great doing it, than having to endure yet another angry, bitter girl boss narrative shoved down my throat. It's like, give me some grace, give me some glamour, and not an endless parade of I'm mad at the world energy. However, those are my thoughts on this. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And hey, before you go, subscribe to our channel, smash that like button, and ring the bell to be notified for our next video. As always, this is Est, and I'm signing off now. So I'll see you in the next one. Toodles!